Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the I Am Real Estate Show. You might notice that I do not sound like Raymond. This is Danielle. Raymond and Sandra are not with us on the show today, but instead we have Don Geisler with Indy Realty.
Hello.
And we have Mike Dalton, the Vice President and Pima County Manager for Pioneer Title Agency.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So we're going to have a really good show for you today. A little bit less, what do I say? A little bit less of the dancing behind the scenes with Raymond not here. But we're going to have lots of great information and lots of fun. So, Don, why don't you start us out? What do you want to talk about with the market today?
Well, first off, I believe that Ray and Sandra are taking in the tournament. That's what they're up to, right? So hope they're having a good time and hope everything is wonderful. And again, Mike, thanks a lot for being here. We really do enjoy doing business with Pioneer Title. We have we get great service, great results. So it's nice to have partners out there that we know we can rely on. So,
well, thank you. And you got a good group of people.
Thanks for being there. Well, again, I'm Don Geisler. I'm the designated broker and CEO of Indy Realty. And, first I just kind of wanted to open up with the market just a little bit and, just high level say we're still trending very, very close with last year's numbers, so we are, I would say, down from 2022. It's pretty significant, but I always kind of put in the qualifier that 2020, 2021, 2022 are sort of like superheated, strange years, at least the first half of 2022. So it's good to see a little bit of consistency and our numbers be matching up really nicely with last year and know that we're sort of in a groove. So last year's pending sales for February were literally 9 units off in the whole MLS Southern Arizona. So really good stuff there.
Good. It's good to know where we're at.
Absolutely. So, one of the things that as real estate professionals that we work with, when we go through the escrow process, and in a little while here, we're going to talk about escrow a little bit, but through the process, the inspection period on a house, on a home, or on land, on any piece of property, is one of the most important facets to it. And it just so happens that it's also the most stressful part of the whole process for anybody. So, basically when your house is for sale and people are coming in and everybody's really excited and somebody puts an offer on a house and they accept it, then we know they love the house. They've already seen all the stuff that they love about the house. So what is the inspection process for? The inspection process is for them to have professionals come in and point out to them all of the problems or potential problems that they have not seen yet. So how do sellers usually like that, Danielle?
It is a very painful process. I had one seller who, I had a really great relationship with them. They were friends, and we were talking about the process and having the home inspector go in and write down every little thing that was wrong. And it was someone who really cared about their home, and they kept, they maintained it very well. And he said, it's kind of like someone just came in and told me that my baby's ugly. And he was having a really hard time because you love your home, you're living in it, you're taking care of it. And there are just some things that we don't know about as homeowners, or we don't necessarily notice that an inspector, that's their job. That's what they do. They notice everything.
That's right. And I would say it's just such a great analogy. They told me my baby's ugly. But, one of the things is going back to the very beginning is to set the expectations. People, we've recently done transactions where the seller wasn't well prepared for what the inspection process looked like. And so they were kind of taken aback when we brought our buyers through. The seller was kind of taken aback by the extensive nature of the inspections that are going on. And they were taken aback by the fact that they shouldn't be there. I mean, so, I can tell you for the most part, as a blanket statement, when the buyers are coming in or having their professional inspections being done, the seller doesn't need to be there. I mean, no good could come from it, because remember, these people are there to pick out everything wrong with your house. So you're better off just going to the movie for a couple hours than dealing with that. But setting the expectations that this is part of the process. It's part of what we go through. It lets the buyer know everything that they're getting into. So they go into the transaction with eyes wide open, and they go into closing with eyes wide open. it protects the seller from liability, and that the buyer has the opportunity to investigate everything that is important to them. And so it's just an important part of the process, you know. So it's very, very much about mindset, you know, both with, I guess, with the buyers and the sellers and the brokerage on both sides. It's not emotional. It's important that it doesn't get emotional, and that everybody understands it's just process.
I would say along with that, you know, managing your expectations. As a seller, it's important to understand that there is no house, even new construction, that has absolutely everything perfect. I mean, something is going to be needing attention somewhere in the home. It's expected. And then from a buyer side, you know, if you go and you nitpick every single little thing, it's going to be a very painful process for both the buyer and the seller. What we're really trying to see is what are the big things that are going to impact this home, like in a big way, you know, big financial burdens or something that really needs the attention versus, you know, something small that you could take care of easily, you know, like switching out a light switch or something. Some things are very small. They're still going to be on the report because they're still noted, but being able to take a step back and say, what is really important to my family or to myself or to whoever as we're moving into this home, and to be able to distinguish between the really important stuff and the little stuff that you can kind of let go of.
Yeah, and I would close that with saying, you know, to potential buyers, yes, you know, prices are up right now. It just is what it is. The inspection period is not the time to think you're going to, quote, get some of that back, you know, and therefore pick things to pieces and make a house showroom ready as if you're rolling a new Mercedes-Benz off the floor. It just doesn't work like that. So I
want to jump in real quick before we
ahead.
move on and say it's also not a time to try to save money by skipping inspections.
Oh, please don't.
There are buyers out there who think that they're going to be able to save that money by just not having all the inspections, and that is something where you're saving a penny and you're losing a lot later. And so it's important to know what you're getting into and not to give up that important information during that inspection period.
Oh, absolutely. And to put it in perspective, I mean, collapsing sewer line, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. You'd be better off paying $200 to get a scope up front.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, you know, we have just about 30 seconds here for introduction again, Mike. So we'll get in the next segment and a little deeper into what you do. But quick overview, what is escrow? What is the elevator speech about what escrow folks do?
Well, escrow, we are the independent third party that makes sure that everybody's whole during a transaction. So we follow instructions. We follow the contract. We follow the lender's instructions, any addendums that come in, any payoff instructions if there's money owed on the house. We make sure that all parties are made whole and the transactions executed in a way that everybody gets what they have entered into the contract for, whether it's your proceeds or the actual acquisition of a property.
And they dish out the funds to all the different little pieces that get funds, whether it's taxes or inspectors or everybody out there. So we're going to get into that a little more deeply in the next segment here.
You are listening to the I Am Real Estate Show. Today we have myself, Danielle Johnson. We have Don Geisler, the CEO and designated broker of Indy Realty. And we have Mike Dalton, the Vice President and Pima County Manager for Pioneer Title Agency. We'll be right back. We are back with the I Am Real Estate Show. And just a reminder, Raymond and Sandra are not in the studio with us today, so we are missing them, but we have Don Geisler and Mike Dalton. And why don't we jump back into a little bit about escrow?
It's funny. I have family members and they ask me what I do. I'm like, I work for a title and escrow company. I've been doing it for 26 years and they still really have a hard time understanding what I do. A lot of times they're like, so you do mortgages? I'm like, no, I work for a title and escrow company. And really the only time that it's really people deal with title and escrow is when you're purchasing a property or in a real estate transaction. And really we are a service that is invaluable to protecting both the buyer and the seller with what we do. So we were just talking about inspections. And so with the inspection period, you're laying out what could go wrong with the property, what needs to be addressed with the property. So the buyer comes in and understands, yeah, there's some paint chips or there's some major structural things, and they make an educated decision on whether they want to pursue the closing of the transaction. But on the title and escrow side, we work on with several different facets to make sure that at the end of the day, the seller gets the proceeds that they're due, and that includes making sure any taxes are paid that are due, any liens are paid that are due, and we're making sure the buyer acquires the property, knowing everything that is can affect their usage of the property, like the CC nards, and that they know that there's what liens are affecting the property. So they basically take out a mortgage, and that mortgage is in first lien position. It's the first lien that they've put on the property since they've acquired the property. But there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot that we do behind the scenes that really long term protects the consumer. First of all, we are very diligent about making sure that wire fraud doesn't happen. Both trying to make the buyer aware of how to transfer their funds in a way that's safe, secure, and they're not sending it off to somebody else, and all of a sudden their life savings are gone. And also, for the seller, we're protecting them by ensuring that they're gonna get their funds, and it's gonna go to the directed accounts we're instructed to send it to. But on the other side, there's the title insurance side, and so with title insurance, we're making sure that the buyer is getting the property, and they have usage of the property, and they can enjoy it free of clear of any encumbrances. And so there are some things that can happen post closing where title insurance is needed, just based on the timing of the transactions. And without going into too specific details, we've had situations where somebody's purchased a property, then all of a sudden the buyer gets a notice, hey, your house is going into foreclosure. It's like, well, what happened? And that's where the homeowner's policy on the title side comes into place, and we look at what happened, and we're ensuring that, hey, you own the property subject to these, you shouldn't be getting foreclosed on. And that's where our teams and the title insurance companies go to work in pursuing legal action to stop any foreclosure. And then if a mistake was made on our part, we pay out a claim. So yeah, I got a call a couple months ago from a brokerage, and their buyer had just gotten a foreclosure notice. No, it was an eviction notice. And it's like, well, let's see what's going on. And lo and behold, there was a timing issue, and the insurance company's attorneys got involved and got it settled, and the homeowner didn't have to deal with anything. And then it's as fraud proliferates, there's some stories of post-closing issues where title insurance and escrow have protected the consumer. So this is actually a California case where it was a vacation home, but the owners had on their title insurance policy, they had guarantees of fraud protection. And so they got a letter from the county saying your house has been sold. And now this is a vacation rent. This is a vacation property, so it's not occupied all the time. And they're like, well, we didn't sell our house. Now,
it's an alarming way to start the day.
Yeah, and you can't lose your property through a fraudulent action, but getting it cleaned up is really, it can be expensive if you have to go out and hire attorneys. But because of the insurance policy that they had post closing coverage, so they contacted the insurance company. Insurance company said, "We'll take care of it," and they went to work getting it with their legal team, getting the matter cleared up of public records. So moving forward, that property owner didn't have any issues. And then on for the buyer who actually bought the property falsely, because there was an escrow company in place and it was a fraudulent transaction, their $400,000 that they had paid was returned to them because they were insured. And
that's pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
if we stop right there for just a second, well over 80%, toward 90% or more of properties in the country are sold, with representation. But a lot of people, especially in a market like this, a lot of for sale by owners happen. And a lot of folks I see mischaracterize our process. And it is so complex and there's so much to it. And you're talking about fraud, but I could just picture a scenario if two people pass that, just pass the deed back and forth and they think they're done. That buyer literally could have gotten taken for $400,000. And it probably happens every day. So I would ask quickly, one of the things I said is it's real important for us to have, be partnered up and work with people that we trust and we know would get great service. So what would, for Pioneer Title, what would you say is your elevator speech? Why Pioneer Title? What do you guys go in and what is your biggest benefit to consumers, either buyers or sellers?
Well, I think for us, we're a family-owned company, started in 1985 out of Sierra Vista, and we're currently right now throughout the state. We have over 80 offices, 800 employees, and there's a lot of financial strength within our operation. But there's also we have the ability to do a lot of problem solving because we are a privately held company. So a lot of the decisions, we get on the phone with our management team and the owner and look at what's going on and saying, hey, is this the right decision to make for our consumer? And where sometimes it wouldn't make sense if you were just checking all the boxes. We look at the situations yeah, let's go ahead and do this and take care of the customer. And we're really involved in about doing the right thing. And
well, let's get a little deeper into that next in the middle of the next segment.
You are listening to the I Am Real Estate Show, and if you are thinking of buying a home, I will let you know we are all sitting at open houses this afternoon, and I've got lots more information about that after the break. Welcome back to the I Am Real Estate Show. So this afternoon, you can find myself, Raymond, and Sandra all at different open houses. We've got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. And so I just want to let you know about some of our listings. And if you hear something interesting, I'll make sure and give you the phone numbers so you can reach out and talk to us. The first one is out in Tucson Estates. It is 2270 South Diamond D. That is listed at $655,000. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom. And it's 2,286 square feet. That is going to be, it's a new construction. It's absolutely beautiful. It has amazing views. I mean, that is a great place. So if you are in the market for something like that, definitely reach out and let us know. It's an awesome opportunity. Our next one is 31 East Pastime. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 902 square feet. It's a very nice townhome. It's listed at $204,000. That one will be held open this afternoon, so make sure and reach out if you're interested. We have a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom that is out Houghton and Bilby. The address is 6226 South Wheaton Drive. It is 1,300 square feet, and it's listed range priced from $320,000 to $335,000. It has owned solar, and that one will be open tomorrow, so we'll have opportunity for you to come see it tomorrow. The next one is 1354 West Placida Bronce. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, listed at $320,000. It has 1,248 square feet, and that one does also have owned solar. So lots of cool opportunities. If you want to see one of those, you can reach out to Sandra at 850-1725, Raymond at 520-904-7711, or Danielle at 520-373-6864.
Thank you, Danielle. You got so much good stuff going on out there, and these are great properties.
And we've got more at the end of the show. So if you didn't love one of those,
We do
stay
have more
tuned.
coming up, and they are very diligent about having them held open and getting people in to check them out. So make sure you reach out to Danielle if you have questions, or Ray or Sandra, of course. So Mike, I was curious. Something that you said kind of caught my attention when you said that you guys were nimble and flexible enough to do a lot of problem solving. So for your typical buyer and seller who don't know a lot about the process, like what type of problems need to be solved when you're working in escrow?
Well, depending on the type of transaction, if you're dealing with estates or powers of attorney or something that has made the current ownership of a property maybe a little bit more cumbersome, we are willing to do because we're in the risk business, so we do a risk assessment on when we transfer property. Are we going to be able to are we comfortable making sure that the transfer of ownership holds? And sometimes we get into situations where we'll look at a situation, and I'm not disparaging any of my competitors, but you look at a transaction, they'll say, yeah, no, this doesn't have what it needs to be completed, and that may shut everything down and create a lot of cost, like with a probate per se. So what we do is we will look at our partners, like with our title insurance partners, our county recording partners throughout the state, and then our management teams, and look at what's going on and say, can we, instead of doing what's normally check all the boxes and procedurally, is there another way we can go ahead and figure out how to get a transaction across the finish line? And that's where we go ahead and we take on that risk, where some other companies would be like, nope, that doesn't fit in our box, and where we go like, well, it doesn't fit in the box, but is it really going to be an issue moving forward? And if it's not, let's go ahead and take care of the customer and make sure that they're able to transfer the property, and the people who are ready to purchase it are able to make the purchase. Sometimes you run into a divorce is I'll just use this as an example. In divorce decrees, somebody gets the house. But in the divorce decree, there's supposed to be specific wording that transfers the ownership in the divorce decree. And if somewhere along the lines after the divorce, one of the ex-spouses passes away, and we need to get that cleaned up, you could be looking at probate, and that's an expensive, timely process. Well, where we can look at it and go, okay, what is it really? What's all in here, and is it in an area that we feel comfortable that the intent to transfer the property is there? And
so you're saying if there's a grammatical error or something that's not worded exactly the right way, it doesn't necessarily fit in the box.
Yeah.
But you're able to implement a little bit of common sense.
Yeah.
And understand the intent of what the documentation was and get the deal done.
Yeah.
And then on the back side of that, because you do it appropriately and thoughtfully, the buyer and the seller are completely protected still.
Yeah.
So that the buyer obtains the title insurance, and they are protected by that, and the seller is protected from liability because you guys have done your diligence on the process.
Yeah, and with the properties, that can happen if there's been inherited properties and so on, and things sit for a good amount of time.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember this, but in November, or rather Dino-Vember, we had a dinosaur that went through a transaction, and we had Paige Draper from Pioneer Title who actually helped us out. Rory T-Rex had an issue of the dinosaur egg farm was encroaching on the neighbor's property, and they were able to get that cleared up for us.
Oh,
So
I remember that. I
you
remember that
never
egg
know.
farm. I remember that egg farm.
yeah, you never know. I mean, these things happen, and when it happens,
And when they pop up, then we're able to rely on our title and escrow people to come up with a solution. What does it take to get this into the box? What does it take to make it acceptable and ensure that everybody's interests are protected?
absolutely, buyer and seller were both very happy with the solution, and it all worked out. So that was great.
Sure,
So it's
sure a little money changed hands for that strip of egg farmland, yes?
Yep, just a little bit. It worked out though. So
Excellent.
it's good to know that we have great people that we work with, and that you are in good hands when you're going through these transactions, because it is a big deal. When we come back from the break, we will talk about a few more of the properties that we have available. And I just want to let you know, if you are in the market, Sandra, Raymond, and myself would be happy to help you out, and you can give us a phone call. Sandra at 520-850-1725. Raymond at 520-904-7711. And myself, Danielle, at 520-373-6864. Welcome back to the I Am Real Estate Show. So I mentioned earlier we have a lot of open houses going on this weekend, and we've got some today, some tomorrow. I talked to you about the first 4 properties that we've got. We've got another 3 that we want to share with you. So the next one is in coming soon, so it's not active yet. Once it's active, we will be having open houses. That's 1358 West Placida Bronce. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 941 square feet. It's listed at $287, and it has leased solar. It does have a great price on that solar though, so it's a really good opportunity for someone who wants solar. A very nice little townhouse. The next one is also incoming soon, and this one is going to be a fixer-upper. So it is priced accordingly. We're priced at $250. The address is 6011 South Cedar Elm Lane. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,597 square feet. And as I mentioned, it is a fixer-upper. It does need some attention. There are some things that you'll want to come in and take care of. And so it's priced to sell. It's definitely going to be a great opportunity for someone who wants to get in and do some work on their own place, or for an investor and have a little bit of instant equity in there. The last one is also in Tucson Estates. This is on the age-restricted community side. The address is 6063 West Bar X Street. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It's listed at $175,000, and that is going to be, it's held open this weekend as well. You can come out and see me tomorrow. And that, as I mentioned, it's an age-restricted community, but it's got a lot of really cool amenities, unlimited golf, pickleball, swimming pool, hot tub, and then it's got the best mountain views. That is one thing about Tucson Estates. If you haven't been out there, there are amazing views, both from our listing on Diamond D and from Bar X.
I would pay significantly more to live in a place with pickleball. I
Well,
absolutely love it.
maybe this is your place.
I could play pickleball for hours and hours. Did you say it's age restricted?
I did.
Well, what are you trying to say? Just because I haven't busted out the Just for Men in a couple of years does not mean I've achieved that age yet, Danielle.
Well, I would live there if I could.
I absolutely would love the opportunity. So.
It's absolutely beautiful. One thing about it, every time I go out there, I'm just amazed. It's such a cool little community, and it's kind of like it's just tucked into the mountains right there. I mean, absolutely amazing views all the way around.
It's wonderful. Wonderful. Well, good luck with the open houses, and I know you see lots of people out there this weekend, and enjoy that, and hope everybody gets out there to see them. I was in one of the properties. I was in the Cedar Elm property myself, and it's what an amazing little floor plan. Just it's an unbelievable opportunity. So.
Well, and for someone who wants to go in and make the home their own, I mean, this is a great opportunity to go in and you get to pick what you want the flooring to be and what you get to pick your own upgrades or just the style, the colors. It's a really cool opportunity for, as I said, both an investor.
The location's
or for,
unbeatable. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, I appreciate that. So again, I'm Don Geisler. I'm the designated stockbroker and CEO of Indy Realty. So we are located at 7255 East Tancaverde Road, across the street from Udall Park. And we're really excited. We have a big event coming up. So mark your calendars for Saturday, April 20th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We are having our first annual, inaugural, whatever cool words you want to throw on, other cool words you want to throw on there, Indy Realty block party. So at our office, we are going to have for the whole day food trucks at the office, games going on. We will have lots of Tucson vendors there who will be participating in some really cool giveaways. We have commitment from Tucson Appliance is going to be there. The Tucson Sugar Skulls is going to be there. Lots of other merchants from Tucson going to be there. And it's just going to be a great time. So the giveaways are going to be fantastic. Everybody's very excited about being there. And we would certainly love to show off our office to anybody that stops by and just want to see what all the chatter is about our new office there at Tancaverde and Sabino Canyon. So please mark your calendars for April 20th and make it a point to come out and see us.
And speaking of showing off the office, if anyone wants to come in and stop by either for this event or another time, I would like to show you how we make a cup of coffee in our super cool water dispenser, because it both dispenses water, cold and hot, and then it also makes coffee. I mean, what could be better?
It is very cool, and I've been told at least once over the past 2.5 years in my recruiting efforts that was the tipping point right there. And we were in competition, and once we showed off the coffee maker, it was a done deal. It was a done deal. So.
Well, and it's a great place to sit and have a cup of coffee. So if you want to come out and talk about real estate or get to know us, it's a really great place to come out and just sit and hang out for a little bit. And I do mention on the show quite often that I will do a free home valuation. And so if you're wondering just what your home is worth, even if you're not looking to sell, it is a really good thing to know what your home is worth and to kind of monitor what is often your biggest asset. And so knowing the value, knowing what kind of equity you have in your home, it's a really important thing. And I'm always there to do a complimentary home valuation for you.
Well, and I hope that people take you up on that, because it's so important to know what the value of your home is for so many different reasons. You could be a million miles from thinking about being in the market, but the value of your home, among other things, it's very key and critical in establishing what's your net worth. What's your bottom line, and then you might also be considering refinancing or taking money out for other things. And knowing what all of your financial options are at your fingertips, I really believe starts with knowing the value of your property. And Danielle is fantastic at it, and she will absolutely do that free home valuation for you. And want to reiterate what she said for any listeners out there. Again, we're at 7255 East Tancaverde Road, and we really encourage people to just stop in. I mean, even if you're doing one of those gigs where you're a driver, you're on the road all day, and you tend to grab your lunch in a gas station parking lot, or with your AC on in your car or whatever you're doing, feel free to come in. We have lots of space. We love to meet members of the community. We're very, very big on being a part of the Tucson community, and so this is just a standing invitation for anybody. Come on in and see us anytime, and you don't have to be in the real estate market to do so. Our group is so friendly, and we all just revel in the experience of being part of Tucson. So,
yeah, definitely. We're always there. Someone is always there who would like to sit down and just let you hang out. You can tell us that you just want to sit and have your lunch, and we can let you sit and enjoy some nice views of Udall Park right across the street.
We've got coffee, as we mentioned. Yep,
we definitely have coffee and a super cool dispenser that you'll want to see.
And we should also say, we are absolutely hiring great real estate agents. So by all means, you can reach me, Don Geisler, at 520-869-2376. We are in growth mode, and I've had a really exciting week this week, pulling the last 3 years market share, stuff like that, and watching our rankings as a company grow. And I'm not quite ready to to make that a huge point yet, but we were just elated when we look at, where we're at, considering we only started, about 2.5 years ago, and looking at where we are now, where we're ranked as a company, and where we're headed is just amazing stuff. So again, just thrilled to be part of Tucson. So real quick, Mike,
Yes.
horror stories. So tell us real quick just about this wire fraud thing. I mean, we only have 2 minutes, but tell us wire fraud. How does it flesh out, and what do we need to do to stop it?
Well, I'm just going to tell everybody, assume your email's hacked.
That's a good
Just
start.
assume your email is hacked, because these predators, these bad guys, are going to sit and wait and wait and wait, and when the time's right, they're going to pounce. And now they're even employing more artificial AI communication to make sure that the wording is not, if it's a foreign actor, sounds more natural. But just the other day, we had a case where we had a closing, and something didn't seem right, and fortunately we have a fraud team. So if anytime there's something like I don't, this doesn't seem right, we kick it out to our fraud team, and they have a just a arsenal of detective devices that we were able to do some research and go, no, this is not the person you thought you were talking to. Looks very similar, but this domain was created 3 days ago.
Yeah, and these guys are very sophisticated, and they watch the transaction once they've hacked in, and right when the rubber hits the road, they're sophisticated. They know that it's time for a buyer to move money or seller to move money, and they jump in there with a fake email and say, okay, here are your instructions to move your money. And you end up moving the money to a foreign country instead of to the escrow company. So it's very important that people follow instructions. Again, it's really important to have a great partner. And Mike, thanks a lot for being here with us today.
Well, then thank you for what you do, and you're a great broker. Your agents love you, and you make the industry better for all of us.
Well, I appreciate hearing that. We work hard. So thank you so much. Danielle, would you like to take us home?
Thank you for listening to the I Am Real Estate Show. If you heard anything interesting today and you want to learn more about any of those properties, or if you would like a free home valuation, you can reach out to us at johnsonsmith@indie-realty.com. And we want to say a thank you to all of our amazing sponsors. We have Indie Realty, Inspired Life Mortgage, Rego Pest Prevention, and Pillar to Post. Please, if you use our sponsors, let them know that you heard about them on the I Am Real Estate Show, and come stop by and see us this weekend at our open houses.